Legislative Update by Melanie Brunson. Melanie's legislative update comes accompanied by 3 photos, all relatively small ones. They are located on the same page so that they could all 3 be printed in color, since only the first 4 and last 4 pages of the publication contain color photos. The first of the 3 photos is the customary thumbnail image of a formally dressed Melanie Brunson at the beginning of her column. Wearing dark glasses, she is facing straight ahead with a serious look. There is no caption with this photo. The second of the 3 photos reveals a lady seated in a chair between 2 gentlemen who are wearing BVA service caps. Both men are also wearing their pocket name badges. The man on the right, who is smiling broadly, is wearing the badge around his neck, while the other man has his attached to his suit coat pocket. In the lap of the lady rests a plaque that contains a Braille flag. Her serious look communicates the possibility that she is listening intently to something being discussed. The caption states, BVA presented Representative Julia Brownlee, Democrat, California, District 26, with the organization's Legislative Champion Award, March 21st, for her extra-mile efforts that resulted in successful passage of beneficiary travel legislation last fall. Pictured left and right, Paul Mims and Dale Stamper. The last of the 3 legislative update photos is a group shot of 13 individuals, 12 of whom are veterans and 11 of whom are blinded veterans. They are lined up side by side in the photo in front of what appears to be a marble wall. There are 3 women, 6 white canes, and 3 guide dogs within the group. The caption reads thus, Led by Melanie Brunson, far right, with guide dog Sparta, members of the BVA Board of Directors and headquarters staff gathered in the Hart Senate Office Building atrium following organization's annual testimony March 22nd. Back row, left to right, Joe Burns, Mark Cornell, Joe Parker, guide dog Josie, Paul Kaminsky, Jeremiah Belk, Dale Stamper, Joe McNeil, Paul Mims, guide dog Brooklyn, Vernon Richmond, and Wade Davis. Front row, Genesee Amaro and Claudia Belk. The text of the legislative update begins with the following. Funding increases for vision research. I am pleased to begin this update with news of another legislative victory for BVA and our friends in the vision research community. The spending bill that Congress approved and sent to the President for his signature on May 4th included an appropriation of $15 million for the vision research program that is managed by the Department of Defense. This is a much-needed increase. BVA and officials of the National Alliance for Eye and Vision Research have been working to obtain an increase from $10 to $15 million for almost 2 years. We are pleased to see the change in funding levels for this research. The spending bill that was passed also gives the National Institutes of Health an increase of 6.2%, which includes an increase of 2.33% for the National Eye Institute's research program. We are hopeful that these funding levels will be continued as Congress begins work on funding government programs for fiscal year 2018, which starts October 1st of this year. At press time, that prospect appeared promising. We will stay in contact with congressional offices to ensure that these funding levels remain intact in the appropriations for next year. Process modernization for appeal of claims. One of the hot topics within the House and Senate Committees on Veteran Affairs is modernizing the process for appealing claims for benefits within the Veterans Benefits Administration. Members of both the House and Senate want the current 5-year waiting period for the processing of appeals to be shortened and made much less complex. Members of both parties have introduced legislation, the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017, to update and shorten that process. Here's a brief snapshot of the proposed legislation, which creates 3 options for veterans dissatisfied with the initial decision on their claims. The legislation would allow veterans to do the following. Seek a higher-level review by a VA regional office on the same evidence presented to the original claims processors. File a supplemental claim with a regional office that would include the opportunity to submit additional evidence. Appeal directly to the Board of Veterans' Appeals, resulting in a possible hearing and/or the opportunity to submit additional evidence. The legislation would help ensure that current pending appeals are acted upon as quickly as possible. Require the U.S. Government Accountability Office to review VA's plans for addressing pending appeals and implementing the new appeals system. Give VA the authority to test facets of the new appeals system on a smaller scale. Require the current VA Secretary to certify to Congress that the Department has the necessary resources to implement the new system. Address pending and new appeals in a timely manner before the new system can take effect. Require VA to report data regarding the previous system and the new system in order to gauge its success in serving veterans, their families, and their survivors. To ensure that veterans will be better served by the new system, the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017 will protect the effective date of a benefits award by dating back to the original filing of the claim if a veteran files a supplemental claim after a decision has been made by the Court of Appeals for Veterans. Allow VA to develop policies permitting veterans to modify information in their notices of disagreement if they appeal to the Board of Veterans' Appeals or change the option they initially selected. Require VA to provide expedited treatment for claims that are returned or remanded to the Veterans Benefits Administration for correction of error. And ensure that independent medical expert opinions can still be obtained by VA in medically complex cases. Both the House and Senate versions of these bills have the same title. The bill number in the House is H.R. 2288, while the number in the Senate is S. 712. We anticipate that the VA committees may try to put these bills on a fast track. Please check the BVA website for further updates on their progress. We'll give you an update in the next bulletin as well. VA Accountability and Trump Executive Order. On April 27th, President Trump visited VA Central Office. While there, he signed an executive order creating an Office of Accountability and Whistleblower Protection within the department that will focus on improving VA's accountability for providing quality care to veterans. The order also seeks to reward and protect those who help to shed light on accountability issues, i.e., whistleblowers. According to the Office of Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs Chairman Johnny Isakson, Republican of Georgia, the order mirrors a proposal in Chairman Isakson's Veterans First Act, introduced in the last Congress. It calls for the appointment of an executive director to get the office up and running within 45 days of the signing of the order. Isakson accompanied the president at the signing. We expect that additional information will be made public over the course of the next 45 days as to what this office will actually do, either through policies implemented by VA Secretary David Shulkin's office, the White House, or through actions by Congress. Sunset date eliminated for Veterans Choice Program. By virtue of the Veterans Choice Program Improvement Act passed in early April, both the House and Senate have removed the date on which the Veterans Choice Program was scheduled to end. The program will now continue until the original funding has been expended rather than comply with a statutory sunset date. Quote, by eliminating the sunset date of the Choice Act, Congress is ensuring that veterans have certainty and continuity of care while we work with the Trump administration to develop a strategic plan that addresses the need for a veteran-centric, coordinated network of care that utilizes the strengths of both VA and community health providers, said House Committee Chairman Dr. Phil Rowe, Republican, Tennessee District 1. Among other things, the Choice Program allows veterans to increase the participation of their own private sector doctors in providing for their health care needs. President Trump signed the bill into law on April 19th. American Health Care Act. Our readers may be interested in information about the potential impact of legislation passed recently by the House to revamp the federal government's role with regard to health insurance. On May 4th, the House passed the American Health Care Act. That bill must also be approved by the Senate before it can become law. However, at this time, Senate leaders have indicated that they intend to write their own bill and have no plans to take up the bill sent to them by the House. As a result, we do not anticipate any changes to the status quo for some time. As the situation develops, we will update you on this issue.